one particular case that I remember reading a book is about the rich does not work for money.
You got it. You're one of the first guys that got that.
Yes. It's
Most people
does it
don't
mean
get
that does it mean that we have to work for free? We don't get any paycheck and just work for fun?
I work for free. I make millions.
There is a purpose to it. There must be a purpose before you can actually acquire assets. You don't work for the paycheck. Is that right?
I don't know.
Yeah. You work for the financial freedom.
Yes.
The name of our show is called Brick to Diamonds. After hearing so many inspiring examples, you have any particular examples that can showcase how this turning brick and mortars into diamonds?
All over the world. You look at the richest guys in the world, they didn't go to school.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not saying education is bad. If you want to be a doctor or a lawyer, you got to go to school. You want to be a school teacher, you got to go to school. But you want to be rich, you don't have to go to school. Okay, but it means you learn something else. I'm still learning every day, but not what they're teaching me in school. So you look at Richard Branson, yes. Sir Richard Branson, he didn't finish school. Okay. Steve Jobs never finished school. Henry Ford never finished school. Edison never finished school. Walt Disney never finished school. Oprah never finished school. But it doesn't mean they didn't learn something. They learned something else. And what Rich Dad Poor Dad is about, and the book Second Chance, is you have to want to learn something else. See, I don't want a job, because the moment I have a job, I'm working for money. And if I work for money, the government taxes me.
Yes.
So you know who pays the highest taxes? The A students, doctors and lawyers.
Yes.
And I was never smart. I was always stupid in school. So that's how my poor dad, school teacher, PhD, Stanford University, all the credentials. He says, you're never going to be successful because I was a C student.
But you are smart. You are street smart.
No, but I studied with my rich dad.
I see.
So my rich dad says, you'll never be successful in the school system, and I'll never be successful in corporations. And he says, you definitely will not become a doctor or a lawyer, because I'm not that kind of smart. I'm not academic smart. So Rich Dad says, you'll be better as an entrepreneur. And so I'm an entrepreneur. So I don't have a paycheck. And it drives most people crazy. Well, how can you survive without a paycheck? Well, I have cash flow. You see, I have income coming from all my real estate developments, all my oil wells, all my businesses, but I don't have a job. And so that's what I mean by the value system is I don't want a job. Number one, because I'll get taxed. And number two, then I'd have to sit behind a desk. And I'm not that smart anyway. So there's very big differences. Yes. And so all I do is I go around the world, I talk to people about what my rich dad taught me and what school doesn't teach you. I'm not saying education's not important. I'm saying there's different types of education. So I learned the education that made Steve Jobs rich and Branson rich and Rich Dad rich.
I see. Just now you mentioned about one particular thing, the right type of education, as well as there is, what we are asking for is actually how do you get involved in real estate? Do you still remember your first case of real estate acquisitions? Because everyone feels that you have a very different type of investment philosophy in real estate investments. I remember that...
What's so different about it? I don't flip properties.
That's correct, yes.
I know the people who flip properties, they're poor people.
I see.
They're people who need the money. You see, I don't want that kind of money. I want income, I want cash flow. So, because if I flip property, I pay tax again. Yes. If I have cash flow, I pay no tax.
Yes, especially you can also use other people's money to buy for the property, right?
Let me just tell you this much, okay? That doesn't make sense to the average person. You have to understand that the problem with schools is they teach you there's right and wrong. The same thing, you go to church, you go, well, this is right, that's wrong. Well, that's stupid thinking. That's really limited thinking. You have to think of education as a coin. I cover this in Second Chance. I have a new video out called The Man Who Could See the Future. Intelligence or education is like a coin. You have heads on one side and tails on the other. On the edge, which is the third side, is where intelligence is found. So what I was taught to do was stand on the edge and not go right and wrong. I don't really care if somebody is Christian or Muslim or Buddhist or this, because people go to war over what religion you are. That's what we're fighting in the Middle East right now. It's really stupid. If somebody wants to be a Muslim, fine. Somebody wants to be a Buddhist, fine. Somebody wants to be a Christian, fine. But our school system and our church system tells you there's right people and wrong people. That causes war. See, that's really ignorant. So what financial education is, I stand on the edge, okay? So you look at all the poor and middle class. They're all saving money.
Yes.
Yeah. And they're putting money into mutual funds and stocks and ETFs and all that. And all of that money funnels over to the rich. Okay?
How does it happen? They are just doing what
they're told to do.
That's correct. Yes.
The right thing to do is get a job, save money, and invest for the long term in the stock market and get out of debt. You see, that's on the poor and middle class side. On the rich side, all these banks, the banks are ripping everybody off. God bless them, But so all this money flows to the banks, and everybody gets upset with the banks. Well, see, the banks need people like me. They need people like you. All this money, trillions of dollars, stacks up in the bank accounts, but bankers don't know anything about investing, So they got to give it to somebody. So I stand on this side, I go and say, Mr. Banker, and I say, okay, Mr. Banker, you have all these trillions of dollars coming in, give it to me. So the poor and middle class, the reason they're getting poor and the gap's getting wider is they're giving the money to the rich or the bankers, and then the bankers give it to the rich. I love this system. The trouble is, it's now so wide that we're going to have anarchy. We already have anarchy. Rioting in America, we have Ferguson, the blacks are rioting, and all this stuff. But they never learned how to borrow money. I borrow millions of dollars. And on the poor and middle class side, the school teachers and the preachers and the mothers and fathers say, oh, debt is bad. You see, that's a good and bad. You got to cut that stuff out and see that all coins have three sides. So the money is flowing to me all the time. This year, 2015, I borrowed $300 million.
Wow.
Okay, that's not a lot of money. It's almost $500 million. Yes. How long would it take you to work for $300 million? Most guys can't make it.
That's right.
They can't make it. In America, they're lucky to make $100,000 a year. But if I know my education, what financial education is, how do I take my banker's money that you gave the banker, I take it. It's a second chance. Bankers are giving me the money. So what I learned to do was how to take your money and make me rich. Okay, so you can sit there and say, oh, that's wrong. Well, the poor and middle class sit there. Bap, 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 bap. The school teachers are going, bap, 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 bap. All the socialists are going, bap, 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 bap. But the capitalists on this side are going, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So our school system, our church systems, and our parents teach everybody to be on this side. They tell you to get out of debt. And on the other side of the coin, which they say is wrong, the bankers are giving it to me. So every time you put money into your mutual fund or your retirement account, I just say thank you for your money. Because bankers have to give it to me, the capitalist. That's the way it is. Three sides, heads, tails, edge. So as a young boy, I stood on the edge, and I said, I want to be on this side, not that side. So it takes different education to be on this side.
Yes.